name is Laurie Lear-Martinez. I'm 31 years old and I'm from Modesto, California. I'm a graphic designer and we're actually filming in my kitchen where I do all the cakes. I have a cake right here. It's not real, but it's a cake that I did for display.
How do you describe your personality?
My personality is really fun and outgoing. I'm always trying to make people laugh, although sometimes maybe not so much. I'm always staying positive. If something goes wrong or maybe business is slow, I always make sure that I stay positive because it always works out in the end and it doesn't really help me to stress about it.
How did you get into baking and decorating?
I started baking when I've been doing graphic design since I was 16, high school. I'm 31 years old now, so quite a long time. I've had my business for 9 years, and I was sitting at the computer one day trying to do a flyer for one of my clients, and it just wasn't coming out. It looked terrible. It looked like something I did when I was 15, and I realized my brain was just shot. I didn't want to be creative anymore, so I needed like another creative outlet, some way to get my brain working again, which sounds funny, but it just wasn't working good anymore. So I always loved baking. I've always been the one to think of ideas for the cakes for all the birthdays and Father's Days and different events. So I took some courses at the local baking cake store, 3 months of courses on Saturdays, and then I just decided just to jump right in and start, and that's how I got started, and I haven't looked back. I mean, there has been some tears and some mess ups here and there, but now to the point where I just have a lot of fun with it, and it's really helped me creatively, and definitely did what I was trying to do, is help me with my creative design and graphics.
How would your friends and critics describe you?
My friends and critics would describe me as hardworking, fun, creative. I'm also hard on myself, so if something goes wrong, I'm blaming myself, although sometimes I won't actually admit it. But mainly hardworking and creative, and I'm always the one that everyone's looking forward to having fun with because I'm not a very serious person. I don't want to be the one that's sort of the downer of the party. I always am trying to have fun and make people laugh, so that's who I am.
What is your best quality?
My best quality is I'm very confident in who I am and my creative ability, so that always stands out in everything that I do. I never doubt that part of myself because I know that I'm creative. But the worst quality is that I worry. I am constantly worrying. My husband, I drive him crazy because we get a cake done, it looks beautiful, we deliver it, and then I take a picture with my phone and I look at that picture for days on end until I hear something back from the bride or the person I did it for. If I don't hear anything back, which a lot of people know you don't, I'm on Facebook, I'm trying to find them to see if they said anything about the cake, if they have a picture of the cake. Sometimes I get up the nerve to add them as a friend to see what they said. They're always happy, but I am a worry wart when it comes to the cake and making sure that they like it and did they like it. Even though I knew it looked beautiful when I was done, then I start worrying if they even liked what I did.
What type of people or things push your buttons?
The worst, which it sounds crazy, but it's like you sit down with some people to talk to them about like their wedding cake and you're really excited for them and you start bringing out all these ideas and then they just stare at you like you are not saying anything wonderful, that you're not that great, and you just feel like, well, like you don't even know what to do anymore. That to me is the worst because you're putting everything you can into getting their business and to making their cake beautiful, and they just don't respond. They're just like staring at you like you're some crazy person. So to me, that's the worst.
Tell us about your background and upbringing past.
Well, I was raised in a really large family. I'm the youngest of 5. I have 2 sisters and 2 brothers. I was raised with a really strong faith in my life. I was raised in church. I went to Oral Roberts University. That's where I got my graphic design degree. So that's definitely been the positive aspects in my life. I put all my trust in God, which is probably why I always stay positive, because I know that in the end He's in control. nothing I can do to make it this way or that way. I just have to do my absolute best, and it always works out. My dad is the creative force behind me. He's the other creative in the family. He's actually a builder. So I've always been intrigued with him putting everything he has into his buildings, like the elevations to the paint, down to the landscaping. He's always putting everything, every part of his creativity into his buildings, which is what's driven me to be as creative I am in graphic design. So definitely my family has been the people who have pushed me to be who I am, and my husband too. He's the one who, when I stopped doing graphic design, pushed me back into it. So definitely my family support. Some people don't have that, and I have a very tight-knit, supporting, loving family.
Tell me about the things you excel at most in life.
Obviously, creatively, graphic design is what I've excelled at. I've been doing it since I was 16 years old and never wavered. I've learned so much in the 15 years that I've done it. I'm still learning, but I've definitely excelled. It's one of my passions. Obviously, the cakes has become my new passion because graphic design is really my job, and I've started doing the cakes, and I've just tried to always excel and learn and do new things and challenge myself, sometimes to no end, but I'm always excelling creatively and challenging my mind to do bigger and better things.
How do you feel you react to criticism?
With design, I don't react at all anymore. I've been doing it for so long that when somebody criticizes some work that I've done, I mean, they're my client, they pay me, as long as they pay the bill, I'm happy. I don't respond to criticism when it comes to my design work. When it comes to the cake, I don't know, it's just something different. I don't know if it's because they're so personal to me that when somebody does criticize it, I just take it to heart. But I haven't, thankfully, had that much criticism when it comes to the cakes. I've only had 2 complaints in the over 250 cakes that I've done, so I think this is a pretty good track record. But man, those 2 complaints that I did get have stuck in my mind more than the hundreds of compliments that I've gotten. So when it comes to the cakes, I don't take criticism very well, to be completely honest. But I'm sure that'll change, hopefully, the longer I do it. But as of right now, I don't react very good to criticism when it comes to my cakes.
Tell us about your food industry experience.
I don't have a lot of food. Like I said before, I took the 3 months of classes, and then I just jumped right in. I just started doing as much as I could. I was taking on 6 or 7 cakes a weekend just to learn. I was hardly charging anything. The other food experience I have, which has nothing to do with it, is like everyone, I was a server. I worked myself through college as being a server. So that helps me with my consolidation skills, doing more than one thing at once. But other than that, I didn't have any other experience except the 3 months that I took. And then, I've always loved baking. But other than that, that's all I've known is the 3 courses that I took. And then I just taught myself as much as I could.
Do you have cake decorating, baking, or pastry experience?
The cake decorating experience, I've been doing it now for almost 4 years, so that's my cake decorating experience. I would rate myself as pretty good. I'm not very good at complimenting myself, but I'm pretty good at cake decorating. I think that I can still learn so much more, like painting on cakes and chocolate modeling clay, and there's even sugar blowing, which just looks incredible. But I think I'm really good at cake decorating. For baking, I think I have so much to learn when it comes to baking. I don't bake from scratch. The only cake I bake from scratch is my carrot cake. I've done a red velvet from scratch before. It turned out great the first time I did it, and then it never turned out again, so I don't know what to do differently there. And as pastries, I make cinnamon rolls from scratch, which my family absolutely loves and is always asking me to make them, and I even made souffles, which turned out great. So I'd like to go actually into that realm a little bit more and learn more pastries, but I haven't quite done it yet.
For how long have you been baking and decorating?
I've been baking and decorating for almost 4 years, and I'm just having so much fun and can't wait to just keep doing doing more and more and more. I look forward to every weekend, which is when I do the cakes, because I can't wait to get my hands on the tools that I use, the fondant, just getting my creativity out onto this beautiful cake and making somebody happy.
Is there any specific genre of food, desserts you like to bake or cook?
My favorite is obviously, I don't really, I think that the baking part is sort of a no-brainer, but the decorating, I love doing the decorating. I like making cinnamon rolls and souffles and these fun things. I also like to make things that are that I don't get a lot of orders for. So like when I make cakes for my family, I like to do sort of these fun, covered in whipped cream with chocolate ganache and some chocolate strawberries, or the chocolate transfer sheets, going around it. I also like to do, like I said, the cinnamon rolls. I really like to get into doing croissants and eclairs and things like that for my family, but I usually kind of really vent out when my family has a special gathering. I do kind of more fun things that I'm not able to do for the people who order.
Tell us any interesting details about yourself or anything that makes you stand out.
The one thing that for me is sort of a funny detail is my clients always call it, and even the people who order cakes for me that have ordered over and over again, they call it the Laurie flair. It makes everything that I do stand out from the next person. Whether it's it takes this personality and reflects in everything that I do, my designs and my cake designs. It just makes it that much more special. It makes it pop. So for me, that's what makes me stand out, because nobody else can have Laurie flair. It's my own. I own that word, the Laurie flair.